Former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney expected to make his run for the White House in 2012 official today. Joining us this morning are two people who carefully follow Republican politics. Ashlee Rich, who is political deputy and polling expert from the Terrence Group. Ashlee, good morning. Thanks for being with us today. And Jordan Sekulow from the American Center for Law and Justice, whose extensive political work includes serving as a full-time consultant on Mitt Romney's 2008 presidential campaign. Jordan, good to see you.
Thanks, Al.
Let's start with you because of that. What is the difference with nominee or political candidate Mitt Romney now versus 2008?
Sure. In 2008, we were really spending time letting voters know who Governor Romney was. He doesn't have that problem this time around. He's now the, you can call him a front runner, you can say that he's got a higher name ID, but people at least know his background. Now, that can also be a tough thing because they know what he did as a governor in Massachusetts. But I think on some of the basic credential issues, for instance, people question whether he was pro-life, whether he was just conservative enough to get the base support in the Republican Party. And I think that bar was reached during the 2008 campaign. There's certainly issues with every candidacy that'll be different, but now he's a name, and that wasn't the case in 2008.
That helps him in 2012, I would imagine, Ashlee.
Yes, absolutely. I think that Mitt definitely comes into this in a much different position than he was 4 years ago. He has almost universal name ID, but the challenges are a little bit different this time around. Mitt had some problems with his evolution on some social issues last time. However, this time around, I think health care is going to be the big sort of question mark for him in terms of if he's able to overcome the legislation he authored in Massachusetts.
Let's jump right into that
sure,
now.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jordan?
It's interesting because I worked for Governor Romney in 2008. I also work at a conservative legal organization where we filed the lawsuits against Obamacare, and we're in federal court right now, even in Washington, D.C. at the district court here against Obamacare. But I understand as an attorney from my background in that world what Governor Romney's trying to say, the differences between, even though President Obama said, I modeled this over on Romney Care, even if that's the case, there is a huge difference as conservatives look at when the federal government does something and state governments do something. And that is a distinction that voters are going to have to understand. I get it. I mean, there's a big difference between the federal government saying everyone has to do this and you deciding, you know what, I'll live in Massachusetts or I won't live in Massachusetts, and I can go to a state that has this kind of state-run health care, and I can go to a state that doesn't. So there's a difference there. We'll see if voters understand that and if they accept it.
I get the sense, though, that people now want politicians to say, I did this, and take that political responsibility, because a lot of Americans are still hurting with no one to say, okay, I messed this up and the economy is this way or what have you. So for me, is that going to be enough to say, okay, well, as president, he would definitely have not done what they call Obamacare when he did virtually the same thing in Massachusetts?
I think that Mitt Romney had an opportunity to sort of back away from what he did in Massachusetts, but instead he stayed on his message of trying to say that it was the right thing for the state. However, talking to what Jordan mentioned about the distinctions between what is right at the federal level versus the state level, I just think it's difficult to assume that voters are going to really differentiate, especially considering this is one of the most publicly opposed pieces of legislation of all time. I think that's definitely going to be a difficult mountain to climb for him.
If you were helping with the campaign this time around, what would be the approach? Would you meet it head on and say, I did this, it was the right thing, or what would you do?
Governor Romney said, I stand by what he did in Massachusetts. I remember, and this is interesting, people don't think we were doing this, but in 2008 during the campaign, we were touting what he did in Massachusetts. And to Republican voters in the primary, and I never had a reporter or anyone say then, oh, is this too controversial? Then when it happened at the federal level, it's become an issue. It certainly is the #1 hurdle for Governor Romney. It's not the Mormon issue anymore. It's not getting to know Mitt Romney anymore. It's not social issues anymore. It's Obamacare, and can he handle it? Can he make the distinction? It's going to be one that he's going to have to spend a lot of time and probably a lot of ads telling people exactly what the difference is.
I don't know if Jordan has been reading my notes, but since I wanted to talk about the religion issue, let's lead into that now. How will this play out? Will Americans vote for a Mormon?
Well, I really don't think that the Mormon issue alone is enough to turn off a large enough percentage of voters that it will really affect Mitt when it comes down to Election Day. However, I think some of the other problems he has, maybe with sincerity or the health care legislation, it might just serve to compound those frustrations some voters may have with him a little bit more.
He is focusing from the preliminary speeches before this initial official announcement today, saying that Barack Obama has failed America. He says that the economy is what he will do. He'll get people working again. Are these sort of the issues that we're going to hear out of Mitt Romney's camp?
I don't think there's any doubt that that's Mitt's strong suit. Very successful businessman. I think if I were giving him advice, I would stay on the economy all the time and try to not talk about health care as much as I can. Although that might be difficult because I would expect not only a lot of his primary opponents to be very focused on that issue in terms of drawing contrast between them and Mitt Romney, but when you have the White House already saying they base their plan on Mitt Romney's health care plan in Massachusetts, that's never a good day for a candidate.
Jordan, who would be a possible running mate? I know that, I'm jumping like ahead of the cart here, but I'm just asking.
I think everybody likes Virginia's Governor Bob McDonnell. He's very popular in Virginia, as viewers know here. He's got over 60% approval rating. But there are certainly, you go through the GOP field, I think if there's some candidates who go the distance, if Governor Romney were to get the nomination, there are some others who go the distance. He could choose from that field as well. But, you could look at a Marco Rubio type. But if you do look at people like Bob McDonnell in Virginia, I mean, the popularity, the support he's done, the reforms he's done, made, and the economy there has been very good.
Got to end it there. Ashlee Rich is a GOP strategist with the Terrence Group. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
coming in today. And Jordan Sekulow is with the American Center for Law and Justice.